Dear students, today's topic is Michelson's interferometer. An interferometer is a device which is used to measure the wavelengths accurately. And this interferometer, its working principle is the monochromatic light is divided into two equal parts by partial reflection and partial diffraction. The amplitude of the incident monochromatic ray is divided into two equal parts by partial reflection and diffraction, and those two divide the rays. They behave like the coherent rays and they interfere to produce the interference fringes. The interference fringes produced in this Michelson's interferometer, using them the wavelength of the monochromatic source of light can be determined, and one more application is the difference in the wavelengths of two spectral lines that can also be determined. And this is the diagram of Michelson's interferometer. The Michelson's interferometer consists of see here, a slit illuminated by monochromatic source of light, a convex lens, two glass plates P and Q, and two plane mirrors M1 and M2. T is the telescope. See here, the plate P and Q are the identical plates, whereas the plate P is half silvered. The back portion of the plate P is silvered, so it is the half silvered plate. Here is a convex lens which is used to render the incident rays parallel. The ray incident on the lens is rendered parallel. A parallel ray is made to incident on the plate P. The plate P and Q are kept at an angle of inclination of 45 degrees, so that PQ are identical plates and they are parallel to each other. The incident ray here on the plate P gets partially reflected and partially refracted. It gets reflected from the silvered portion of the plate P. That reflected ray moves towards the mirror M1. See here, M1, M2 are the plane mirrors. The reflected ray moves towards the mirror M1, and the partly refracted ray moves towards the mirror M2. While passing towards mirror M2, it passes through the plate Q, then falls on the mirror M2. From M2, it gets reflected, comes back, passes through Q, then it falls on the plate P to the back surface of P. From there, it travels towards P. Whereas the beam or the ray which has reflected towards M1, it moves towards M1, from there gets reflected, comes back along the same path and passes through this plate P again, then travels along this path. And at this point O, the two reflected rays, the rays reflected from M1 and M2, they meet each other at O. They interfere to produce the interference fringes. And the interference fringes are viewed in this telescope, or in the field of view of the telescope, we can see the interference fringes produced. This is how the interferometer, by adopting the method division of amplitude, derives through coherent sources, and hence it produces the interference fringes. This is the working of Michelson's interferometer. See here, what is the use of the plate Q? A similar plate Q is used. A plate similar to P, that's Q, it is used here. The use of Q, why Q is kept here is the beams 1 and 2, the beam or the ray moving towards M1 and moving towards M2, they should travel equal path. See here, the ray traveling towards, reflected towards M1, the ray reflected towards M1 travels through P thrice, 3 times, whereas the ray moving towards M2 travels through P only once. In order to compensate the path of the two rays, the plate Q is used, so that the path difference, here using this compensating plate Q, the path difference between these two rays is made 0. They are made to travel equal path. Both M1 and 2 are made to travel equal path. That is the use of the plate Q. See here in the diagram, you can see M2 dash. M2 dash represented by the dotted line. M2 dash is nothing but image of M2. virtual image of the mirror M2 is M2 dash. And here M2 dash is produced due to reflection of this ray from the back surface of the plate P. That reflected ray gives the virtual image M2 dash, image of M2. Now, these two images M1 and M2 dash, the light reflected from M1 and M2 dash, they behave like coherent sources, they interfere and they produce the fringe pattern here. Here M1 is the light reflected from M1 is a real source, the light reflected from M2 dash is a virtual source. These two interfere to give the pattern in the field of the telescope. This is how interference fringes are produced. And here when the mirror M2 and the mirror M2 is exactly perpendicular to M1. If M1 and M2 are exactly perpendicular, then this virtual image M2 dash, it will be exactly parallel to M1. So that if there is some gap between M1 and M2 dash, say D, suppose a small gap, D exists between M1 and M2 dash. In that case, a thin air film is introduced between M1 and M2 dash. The air film, its thickness is uniform throughout, so that in the field of view of the telescope, the fringes observed are circular in shape. Circular fringes are observed. That's because the thickness of the film is uniform throughout. That's why fringes of equal inclination, nothing but circular fringes are observed. So the fringe pattern is circular in shape. Now here in the fringe pattern we observe alternate bright and dark fringes. The occurrence of bright or dark fringe depends on path difference introduced between the light reflected from M1 as well as M2 dash. And here the fringe pattern is due to reflected light. So in reflected light, in the previous discussion we had derived the expression for path difference delta as 2nt cos r plus lambda by 2. In that equation 2nt cos r plus lambda by 2, n refractive index of the medium, t the thickness of the film. Let us take the thickness here as d, and air film is introduced, n is 1, so that path becomes 2nt cos r becomes 2d r small, it is nothing but I write it as 2d cos r plus lambda by 2. N is 1, that's why 2nt cos r, n is 1, 2d cos r plus lambda by 2. Suppose d is 0. Suppose M2 dash M1 they coincide, D becomes 0. In that case, path difference delta becomes lambda by 2. If path difference is lambda by 2, this indicates that the field of view will be, here say, it's a odd multiple of lambda by 2, 1 lambda by 2, odd multiple of lambda by 2, that produces a dark field, so that when these two coincide, the field of view in the telescope, it will be completely dark. A dark spot is observed in the field of view when delta is lambda by 2. And as we move M1, as we move M1, and if distance between M1 and M2 dash increases, for an increase of lambda by 2, for an increase of lambda by 4, suppose the distance is made lambda by 4, then what happens is, there in the field of view, a bright spot, bright ring appears. Total path becomes 2d, that is 2 into lambda by 2 becomes lambda, a bright ring appears. Further movement by lambda by 4, one more down. In this way, as we move slowly, the mirror M1 from M2 dash, alternately bright and dark rings, they appear in the field of view, and as distance d increases, the ring pattern becomes thicker and thicker, so that we get more and more bright and dark rings. This is how circular fringes are produced here in the field of view. That depends on the distance between M1 and M2 dash. This is the working principle of the Michelson's interferometer, which produces the circular fringes. So here, what is the use? For first application is determination of wavelength of a monochromatic source of light. Using this micrometer, the fringes produced in this micrometer, Michelson's interferometer, we can determine lambda. How lambda is determined? The procedure is, first of all, in the setup we observe the circle fringes consisting of alternate bright and dark rings. Let the distance between the two mirrors M1 and M2 let it be D. And as we move the mirror M1, in the field, what we observe is slowly as we move at one position, for one particular distance D, a bright spot appears at the center. Suppose D is moved through a certain distance, that a bright spot appears at the center. Let M be the order of that bright spot. Let us take the order as M. Here the distance D is moved by lambda by 2, so that a bright spot appears. Total distance 2D becomes lambda, so that a bright spot appears for that distance D. Then we can write the relation as 2D is equal to M lambda. A bright spot of order M is appeared. Then for that bright spot at the center, the expression for path difference, that becomes 2D equal to M lambda. Suppose the mirror M1 is further moved slowly till one more spot appears. One more bright spot appears at the center. The next one appears at the center, means the M plus 1 order bright spot appears at the center. Now, in this way, as we move the mirror M1 slowly, the bright spot for different distances of equal magnitude, bright spots, they occur continuously in the field of view or at the center. Let the mirror M1, let it be moved through a distance x, so that n number of, for that distance, let n number of spots appear at the center. I repeat, let mirror M1, let it be moved through a distance x, for which let n be, capital N, let n be the number of bright spots appear at the center. One, we can count the number of bright spots that appear at the center. So that this relation for that particular distance and order, that becomes 2 into distance becomes x plus b. Order is capital N. Already M was there, next extra order N. So M plus N. So the relation becomes 2 into x plus b equal to M plus N lambda. From 192, from these two equations, we can find out lambda as 2 minus 1. Equation 2 minus equation 1. It gives, when you subtract, the left hand side is 2x plus 2d minus 2d. It is xd, sorry, it is 2x plus 2d minus 2d. 2d cancels. You get 2x in the left hand side. Right hand side, m plus n lambda minus m lambda is n lambda. So we get 2x equal to n lambda, or from this, lambda is 2x by n. This is how lambda can be calculated. Here x is distance, it can be measured. N, number of bright spots appearing at the center, that can be counted. Using this relation, lambda can be calculated. This is how lambda is determined using Michelson's interferometer. Another application is determination of the difference in the wavelength. Say some elements, they exhibit spectral lines having wavelength very close to each other. For example, sodium, the element sodium. In case of sodium vapor lamp, it emits light which is yellow in color, and in the spectrum of sodium vapor lamp, we observe two spectral lines. In the spectrum of sodium vapor lamp, two yellow lines, it's yellow in color, so yellow lines that are very closely spaced, which are very close to each other, is observed in the spectrum of sodium vapor, the sodium vapor lamp. Let lambda 1, lambda 2 be the wavelengths of those two spectral lines. The difference is very, very small. So that difference, lambda 1 difference lambda 2. If lambda 1 is more than lambda 2, lambda 1 minus lambda 2, the difference can be calculated. The difference can be measured using the fringes in Michelson's interferometer. The method is, let us consider the spectral lines having two wavelengths, lambda 1, lambda 2. Let lambda 1 be greater than lambda 2. So lambda 1, the longer wavelength, lambda 2 the shorter wavelength. So the method here is, let x be the distance moved by the mirror m for two consecutive positions of maxima and minima. See here what happens is, in the interferometer, again the same procedure, let m1 is moved away from m2 dash. Let m1 is moved slowly. As we move m1 at one position, what we observe is the field of view in the telescope, it becomes completely bright. We observe very bright, very distinct fringes in the field of view of the telescope. When we move m1 to a certain distance, say x, we observe very distinct fringes in the field of view. This is called distinctness or maximum distinctness. Further movement from there, if again m1 is moved, if you move m1 again, then slowly that distinctness decreases. Means that brightness goes on decreasing, and at one particular distance, that the fringes will become completely invisible. Complete uniform illumination will be there. Fringes are completely invisible. Fringes are not seen. That's called indistinctness. In this way, as we move m1 slowly, see here. Before that, since there are two lines, lambda 1, lambda 2, two spectral lines, in the interferometer, the pattern produced, that is due to both lambda 1 lambda 2. Both lambda 1 and lambda 2, they produce their own interference pattern. And at one position, as we move m1, at one position we see complete distinctness, maximum distinctness. The next position, complete or maximum indistinctness, and this repeats. Alternately, distinctness and indistinctness. This occurs as you move the mirror m1. Complete distinctness means, complete bright means, fringe pattern is completely bright means there, the bright fringes due to lambda 1, they fall on bright fringes due to lambda 2. This overlapping results in maximum brightness. Indistinctness means bright fringes due to lambda 1, they overlap with dark fringes due to lambda 2. Their complete indistinctness means fringes are not seen. This happens repeatedly as we move the mirror m1 away from m2 dash. So using this, we can find out the difference. Here, suppose the mirror m1 is moved to a distance x, for which there will be complete distinctness. Fringe pattern is clearly seen. Further movement, let us move m1 again till one more distinctness is observed. Distinctness, indistinctness, distinctness, it occurs alternately. So, suppose, if you move to the next distinctness, then there the order of the shorter wave, in that case, the order of the shorter wavelength, here this lambda 2, it always increases by 1. In between two successive distinctness or two successive indistinctness, the order of the shorter wavelength is always increased by 1. The main meaning is, between, if x is the distance travelled for two successive distinctness, then if m is the order of lambda 1, order of lambda 2, it will be 1 more, it is m plus 1. For this same distance x, order of lambda 1, if it is m, order of lambda 2, shorter one. Remember, it should be for shorter one. It increases by 1, that becomes m plus 1. So that the equation 2d is equal to m lambda. If you write that equation, 2d is equal to m lambda for these two lines, lambda 1, lambda 2, then the equation becomes, for the first one, 2x equal to m lambda 1. Here d, the distance mode, it is x. So that 2d equal to m lambda for the spectral line lambda 1 is 2x equal to m lambda 1. For the second spectral line is 2x equal to m plus 1 lambda 2. The distance mode is same, but order of the shorter lambda 2 increases by 1. Now, from these two equations 1 and 2, left hand sides are equal, so right hand sides must be equal. So m lambda 1 is equal to m plus 1 lambda 2. If you simplify this, this becomes m lambda 1 equal to m lambda 2 plus lambda 2. Or if you take this term to the left hand side, m is common. Left hand side is m into lambda 1 minus lambda 2 is equal to lambda 2, or m is lambda 2 divided by lambda 1 minus lambda 2. The order m, we get the expression for order m as lambda 2 by lambda 1 minus lambda 2. Now let us substitute this m, the order, in equation 1. Substituting, you get 2x, where the equation 1 is. Here the equation 1. Left hand side 2x, right hand side m is taken as lambda 2 by lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into 1 more lambda 1. Substitute this. Here in this equation we get this. And if you simplify from this, you get lambda 2 minus lambda 1. Bring this here as lambda 2 lambda 1 by 2x. And using this, so what is lambda 2 minus lambda 1? And so it is lambda 1 should be lambda 1 minus lambda 2. Lambda 1 is a longer one. A small mistake here. Sorry. See here. M is lambda 2 by lambda 1 minus lambda 2. So it should be lambda 1 minus lambda 2. Lambda 1, the longer wavelength. So that we get lambda 1 minus lambda 2 as lambda 2 lambda 1 by 2x. Lambda 1 minus lambda 2 is lambda 2 lambda 1 by 2x. And this is how we calculate the difference in the wavelengths. If lambda 1 minus lambda 2, if it is very very small, it is taken as d lambda equal to lambda 1 lambda 2 by 2x. X, the distance can be measured, and if lambda 1 lambda 2 are not known, in that case, if the difference is very small, lambda 2 lambda 1 are approximate to lambda square, so that d lambda can also be d lambda equal to lambda square by 2x. Using this also one can calculate lambda. Lambda difference as well as lambda can be calculated. These are the applications of Michelson's interferometer. With this, I stop here. Let us continue the class, next class with another topic. Thank you.